Okay, guys. I'm just gonna take roll really quick, if you would. Put a message in the chat so that I can see that you're here. You can't hear me, but you just answered. Are you just answering because everybody else? Probably. Okay. Okay. So roll was taken. Hopefully, if anyone joins us, they'll be joining us in the next few minutes. We have a lot to cover this class. This class, we're going to be doing the Sky Sphere. I don't have Photoshop. I didn't think about that ahead of time. We'll work around that. I also should have added that we'll be making a TIE fighter with this material. I have it assigned, but I didn't add it here. And then the assignment is going to be the Sky Sphere and TIE fighter. And basically, we're going to make a very rudimentary TIE fighter. Going to be using a sphere cylinder and 2 boxes to make the basic shape. We're going to try to add some finer details with additional shapes. We're going to include a sky sphere with a seamless texture. We'll also use a multi-sub object again to roughly texture your TIE fighter. And then next week, we'll do the flying on a path, which I can't remember which one of you did it. I think one of you guys did it with the Yahtzee assignment, so should be pretty familiar. I did get some grading done, I think last week and maybe over the weekend. Some of you guys have either 0s or 50s. I don't want you to freak out about that. If you got a 0 or 50, it's probably because you turned in the wrong files. Being that it was only the second assignment, if you guys, still have your files and you want to resubmit them, I will still take them. But I will not take them after midterm, which is, I think, next week. So make sure to get those in before next week. After that, I'm going to go on with the grading and I won't be coming back to it. If for some reason you can go and look at your assignments. So if for some reason you didn't turn in the right files for the Pokeball or the Pokeball animation, go ahead and resubmit those too, just so that we can kind of head that off at the pass. Is there anyone that doesn't still understand project folders and how to set those up? Okay, I'm going to assume silence means that everyone does. If for some reason anyone's just anxious and they're not saying it, you can email me and I'll try to walk you through. I do try to do it every assignment, so I'm hoping doing it over and over and over again, we'll get there. Speaking of which, I'm going to go ahead and make a new folder. I'm going to name it accordingly. Sky Sphere and TIE Fighter. Okay. We'll go ahead and get started. Do I have any questions from anybody over last week's work or any assignments or anything like that? Any general questions before we get going? Okay. Chad's not here tonight, so everyone's really quiet. Yes, I know. You did struggle with the Pokeball assignment? The animation or the Pokeball? I missed Chad. Animation. Well, I mean, it was a little bit difficult for me doing it too, and I know there for a second, I kind of went back and forth about how to do it with the lid. So I hope that kind of like cleared up towards the end. But if you guys are having trouble, like, please feel free to reach out. I do ask you not to contact me like a few hours before the assignment's due, you know, like 4 o'clock on a Monday. I hope that I can help you. But I mean, I do try to help you. On the weekends, I try to be available as much as possible. Oop. The scroll on this wheel. Oh my God. Okay. I try to be available over the weekends. However, I am a person and I do have a small child. So if I can answer you real quick over email, I do try to. If it's something where I can jump in and help on TeamViewer for 5 minutes, I do try to do that too. Just don't be surprised if I can't. I think that's pretty much it. Kind of just reviewing stuff. We'll go ahead and get started. So I think the first we'll do is the Sky Sphere, just because that's a little bit easier. And I can go ahead and take care of the Photoshop part of that assignment, specifically because it's not a Photoshop class. If you guys I would recommend, by the way, if you haven't signed up for it, that you take the Photoshop class at some point, just because its applications are pretty good. Okay, so we're going to start with a sphere. And we're going to click and create, and we're going to make it really, 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 really big, because this is going to be our universe, basically. So I think that's pretty big. I'm going to just check. I don't want orthographic. I want perspective, because I want to see how big it actually is on the grid. Yeah, it's pretty big. Okay. If for some reason you find later on that you need more space inside to do your TIE Fighter than what is created here, that's fine. Don't go so huge that you basically are making something so big that you can't see your grid. If I turn this to edge faces, not edge faces. Change my mind. We're going to make it see-through. So object properties, that was just a right click, in case I didn't explain that. Right click and then object properties, and then see-through. This is only temporary. But you can see the grid right there. It's a little bit hard to see, but it's there. Okay, I'm gonna make it unsee-through. I think there's a quick key for it, but I can't recall it right now. All right, so first things first, Because this is a sky sphere, technically our polygons need to be facing on the inside because that's where we want our texture to render. So I'm going to make this an editable poly. And then I'm going to go, there's a couple different ways you can do this. You can switch to polygon mode by clicking the polygon here, or you can expand the menu and select here. As long as you have the shape, if you guys notice, like vertex is dots, edge is a little perimeter of a triangle, border is like a peanut shape for whatever reason. And then polygon is a solid black square, or not black square, gray square. I'm going to select all these polygons. I'm just going to do a quick spin around, make sure I've got it all. I will say really quick, it's going to be really important with this assignment to make sure that you have your orientation. So make sure that your top is always at the top, because you can kind of get turned around with this assignment. Anyways, got all my polygons selected. And then over here on Edit Polygons, this menu here, there's a flip. When we flip, it flips our polygons so they're facing on the inside. You can't really see it right now, except that it is black. But when I add the texture, you'll see. So for the Photoshop part of this, we're not going to be using Photoshop. We're going to kind of do like what I showed you guys with the wood texture and stuff. So just really quick, I'm going to search Universe, I guess. Universe Seamless texture. And then more. Nope, that doesn't help me either. Here we go. Usage rights. We'll do labeled for reuse. Okay, so we've got a few selections here. This one I do not think is actually seamless, but I like it, so I'm going to try it. Part of why I say I don't believe it's seamless is because right here at this edge, there's this light blue coming over, right? Well, you would expect that if it's seamless, that there would be light blue coming over here too. They have a little bit, but I'm not holding my breath. We'll try it. Oh, and I need to set up my project folder, the thing that I'm harping on. Okay, file, project, create default. Let me move this out of the way. And then desktop, and then this one, select folder. And then I'm just going to make sure that that did in fact make them by navigating here. Okay, it did. And I'm just going to save it in material libraries. Some save it in scene assets and then images. I don't know. I put it in material libraries because that makes the most sense to me. As long as it's in there, I'm not going to worry too much about it. I'm just going to name it so that it's obvious. And then save. And let's see if this actually works. So material editor. There is not a good place for this. We'll put it there. Maybe squish it a little bit. Okay. Standard texture. You guys have used these before. We're going to double click, kind of like what we did with the Yahtzee. And then bitmap. And then it navigated. Yeah, see, it navigates to images. That's why it's an option. But I like it in material libraries. I'm going to select it. Going to select my standard texture, show in viewport, and then I'm going to come out of edit mode so that I'm assigning it to the actual object, not a polygon. And let's see. Let's close this real quick. Okay, I need to make the object see-through because we can't see. So object properties, see-through. We don't want it to be gray though. Why are you gray? Object properties. Shouldn't be doing that. Hold on. Is it assigned inside? Hold on, something's wrong here. Is it just too dark? I'm gonna make it bigger so I can't see anything. That's a little better. So it's not seamless, like I suspected. See that seam running all the way? So I'm gonna find a different one. It's also stretching it. So really quick while I'm here, I'm just going to make it tile. See if I can remember how to do that. Tiling, here we go. So I got here by double clicking the bitmap part of the texture. And then there's a tiling option here. And I'm just gonna set it to 10, well, ideally. My numlock off, yeah, 10. And then 10. As long as these numbers are even, it'll look fine once we get a seamless texture. When you do go to work on your TIE fighter, I would suggest hiding the sky sphere, and you do that by clicking the eye over here. Okay, but for now, since we're still working on it, I'm going to have it visible. And back to Google to find a seamless texture. This one looks pretty good. Let's try this one. I'm just going to pick a similar name and add a 2. You guys know how that goes. Final version 2. If anyone gets that joke, you get brownie points. I'm just going to change the map, the file path. If we can make a tileable texture in Photoshop, will that work to get rid of the seam? Yes, you absolutely can. I'm just kind of bypassing it because this isn't technically a Photoshop class. And I don't want to expect you guys to know how to do this. But the Photoshop class should teach you. So if you are interested in that, you can. If you do know how to do this on your own, by all means, go right ahead. If you do it though, because that's going above and beyond, keep the original in your folder so that I see it. And then that way, you can kind of work towards those 10 points. Okay, so double click the bitmap. The path is right here. So I'm just going to click this and I'm going to point it to a different one. Then click open. That's pretty good. I'm not seeing any obvious seams. I'm having a hard time talking today. Not sure why. Okay, so that looks pretty good. I think I'm going to call it there for the sky sphere. Pretty simple thing to do. I'm a little bothered that it's black when I zoom out. Should be transparent. And I'm curious. Nope, that's not it. Oh no, we'll come back to it. It's not really breaking anything right now, so I'm going to leave it alone. My texture is stretching around all the polygons instead of applying to each individual polygon. It shouldn't be applying to each individual polygon. We do want it to be applying to all of them. If it's stretching, you should do the tiling that I just showed you. Okay, I'm going to move on. I'm going to go ahead and hide it here. Lindsay, if you still have problems later, let me know. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start on the TIE Fighter. Got the Sky Sphere done. The TIE Fighter, I'm basically just going to start with a sphere. Now, keep in mind the size of the space that I created with the sphere. I'm probably not going to make my TIE Fighter super big. Probably there. And then I'm going to turn on edge faces, specifically because I want to rotate it. Oops. I want to rotate it so that this circle at the top, I can kind of mimic this part of it. It'll make it easier later. So I'm going to go ahead and rotate it, and I'm going to rotate it by using my rotation tool, angle snap toggle, so I make sure I have a straight on, and then I'm just going to rotate it 90 degrees. I'm going to make sure that that is my front as well, which it's not. So I need to rotate it sideways as well, 90 degrees. Is that 90? I'm gonna use my move tool and make sure it's set at 0, 0, 0, because the grid has a solid line that runs through, so it'll tell me. Okay, so that's good. It's just good to set it at 0, 0, 0, by the way. In general, it's good practice to have your objects created at the point of origin. That way, when you port them over to anything like a game engine or something, you don't have to try to adjust for it. So I got the sphere. You can do this a couple different ways. I'm going to use a cylinder. You can use like a box and like stretch it, especially if you want to try to get like the angular parts. But I'm trying to keep it simple. I don't want to go too big. So just kind of eyeballing it here. I know that I want it to go through the sphere, so I want it a decent length. Gonna rotate it 90 so that it's flat on the ground. I'm also going to affect the pivot point. I'm just going to go to the hierarchy, affect pivot point only, and then center to object, just so that it gives me a good point of reference, because I want to center it in the sphere, and I can do that easily because my sphere is at 0, 0, 0. So now that the pivot point is at the center of the object, I can just hit 0, 0, 0, and we're lined up. Okay. There is one thing I want to do. I wanted to try it. I don't know if it's going to work. I'm going to switch it to an editable poly. So if we look at the TIE Fighter, I'm trying to find a pretty good reference. So the wings are closed on this one. We're not going to do closed wings, but it has the sphere shape, and then these are wider where they connect with the sphere, and then thinner when they get out to the wings. So I want to try to emulate that. And I'm just going to do that by going to polygons, and there's polygons in the center. Let's move this. Whoop. I want to move the whole thing. Hold on. Move this up so I can see. So I'm just going to select the polygons, I think here. And then I'm just going to scale them universally. I don't want to go too big because it still needs to fit inside the sphere. Let's go ahead and move it back down. Okay, so that seems okay. And then I'm just going to go to edge, and then let's see. want it a little bit smoother. So I'm going to double click on this edge line. By the way, when I created this, I already had so many height segments. So when you do go to create this, make sure you have enough height segments. You might want to add even more than 5, more than what I did. It's up to you. But I would suggest at least 5. Okay. So got the edges selected, and then I'm just gonna scale out a little bit to widen it. And then on this one, oops. Is this because it's a border? I think because it's a border. Or am I just not grabbing it right? Yeah, it's not treating it like a border because it's not an open face, but it's not grabbing the edge because I guess it's not treating it as an edge loop. That's okay. We can do it this way. So I'm just going to do a selection box, and then I'm going to hold Alt and deselect these. So now I just have the edges at the end. And actually, hold on. To make this even easier, I'm backspacing quite a bit. Maybe, possibly. Just real quick reminder, customize preferences, and then you can set the undos. Mine's set at 100. That's weird. It's not undoing very far back for some reason. There it goes. Thank you. Okay. I kind of messed up for a second there. So I just want to show you guys, because we want symmetrical sides. I'm going to double click this. Oop, and hold Control and double click these as well. And now when I scale them, they'll scale universally. And then same on these. Hold Alt to deselect, hold Control to select these, and then Alt to deselect. And now I can scale these as well. Okay. So far, so good. We're all centered up. Looks pretty symmetrical across. Now I'm getting all these shapes together. We're going to combine them once I get them, but right now I just want to make the basic shapes. Okay, so for the wings, we're going to just do the open version. You are free to do the closed if you want. I mean, I don't want to restrict you guys, but for the assignment, the requirements, just have them open. It's fine. So I'm going to do a box, and then I'm going to top view because it's just easier to see. And I know that this is a 6-sided shape, right? When we do a box, it's 4 sides. So I know that I'm going to want a edge to run through the center. I'm just not sure where yet. So I'm just going to make a basic box. I'm going to kind of try to eye it for the shape here. Let's say there. I'm going to go to a side view so I can see the height a little bit better. I don't want it too big. Call it there. Excuse me. And then I'm going to right click editable poly, and I'm going to show you guys how to add an extra edge. So if we go to edge mode and we select the polygons, I'm sorry, the edges across here, make sure you have all 4 selected. And then we can just click connect, and it makes a line across the middle for us. So now we have 6 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Make sense so far? Not hearing a lot of yeses. Did I lose you guys? Okay, thank you. I just want to make sure I didn't like lose you completely. How did you connect the edges again? Okay. I'm gonna backstep. So edge mode, select the edges where you want the line to run through. So I want to make sure I have all four. So I've got this one and this one, and this one and this one. And then just down here, you just click connect. It's under edit edges. You may have to expand it. I don't think so, but you may have to. And then you click connect and it runs an edge through the center. It will make the midpoint between edges. So like if I were to connect it again between these two, it'll be in exactly the middle between this edge and this edge. So just to show you, see what I mean? So something to keep in mind. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and turn this and kind of prop it up so that is at least in position. So I'm going to rotate it 90 this way, not 95, 90, and then 90 this way. And then I do want on the Y to be 0, so I know that it's centered. X and Z is kind of subjective. Well, Z should probably be 0. If you have everything on the 0 here, it should be 0 as well. And then I'm just going to kind of line it up. Then I'm going to make a copy of it. Just hold shift and then move along the axes. Just going to make a copy. And then on this one, I'm going to re-click this one because I want to see where it's positioned. So it's 102.878. So this one should be negative 102.878. Hopefully, if we lined everything up right. Nope, we're a little off center. Why are we off centered? Are you not centered to object? We are not. That's why we're a little off centered. So real quick, back pivot point only, center to object. This one too. Okay. Now we'll set this to negative 97.972. Okay. That's better. As a matter of fact, I probably shouldn't have made a copy of that one quite yet because I do want to do a few edits so that we have more of this septagon shape. Is that 6 or is that 7? Not a math teacher. Yeah, 6, but is it sept? Is it sept? Septagon? You know, like octagon? Hexagon? Is it? Okay, I'll trust you. Okay, hexagon. I think septagon is 7 then. The only way I remember it is by counting in French. So I think it's sept. For 7, that is. Okay, so what I want to do, I'm probably going to recopy this. So I'm going to go ahead and delete it. Just so that I make my life a little bit easier. I'm going to go to vertex mode on this one. And then I'm going to grab the 4 corners. And kind of similar to how I did the edges on the cylinder, I'm going to do the same thing here so that they move universally. So scale tool. And then I think I just want to, yeah, I want to scale it uniformly in the center. Not super happy with the shape it's making because it's too squat. So now I'm just going to move it on the Z to make it taller. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. I mean, I think it's pretty well good. Now I'm going to make a copy of it and move it over. I just need to get the position again. Negative 97.972, wasn't it? Yeah. Okay. All right, so that's better. Now I want to add everything together. So we're going to use a Boolean again, similar to what we did with the Pokeball. But we're going to make sure that the first object we select, basically that we add everything else to, is the sphere, because we want our center point to be the sphere. And when you add objects, the child adapts to the parent's position. I don't know if that makes sense. I hope it makes sense. Basically, the second object you select is going to be affected by the first one. Okay, so standard primitives here, compound objects, and then we're going to do pro-Boolean. And we're going to do union, and we're basically going to add everything. So we're going to start picking. I'm going to save really quick, actually, because this is a big step. Make sure I'm saving to the right place. Okay. So start picking. I'm going to pick the cylinder and then both wings. And that actually went really well. First go. I think that's pretty good. Do feel free to change it however you need to. You know, if you want thinner wings, if you want bigger wings, just try to stay in the semblance of a TIE fighter. I do want to do something really quick. So everything got added to Sphere 02, but it's not an editable poly anymore. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to right click and I'm going to change it to editable poly, and then all the objects are their own objects now. Well, not own objects. They're all one object now. And then I just want to kind of bump what would be the window a little bit. So I'm going to select edge. And then let's see here. I mean, it's not the biggest window in the world. So I think I'm going to go with this one. I mean, it seems a good distance between the branch for the wing and the actual face of it. Again, make sure that you're actually editing the front. And then I'm just going to trying to decide what I want to do. I think I want to do a chamfer. Question is how much? So I just added an extra line. So it's kind of got one there in the center. And then the distance is here. You know what? Because it's got this shape and then the lines coming in, I think I'm going to change what I'm doing just a little bit. I want to make sure I'm thinking, how do I want to do this? I don't think that I want to grab every single one, but I do want to make them even. So I think I'm going to do center bits here. And then it looks like I have 3, and then these. Oop, not that one. Just hold Alt to unselect. And then Same down the front. Did I grab that one? No, I didn't. Okay. I don't know if these are going to mathematically work out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I'm gonna backpedal a little bit here. I'm gonna deselect these for now. I'm gonna get my midpoint references. So I've got striping down and then sideways. And then if I were to cut it like a pizza pie, I think these guys are gonna be the ones I want. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then there's 4. Oh, I forgot to deselect these. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now this is working out for me because of the segments that I had on the sphere. So if you go and watch this tutorial video again, you'll want to pay attention to how many segments I started with. I'm not sure how many I did start with. If I had to guess, probably 32. Because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so 4 times 8 is 32. So it's probably 32 segments. Okay, so I've got those selected. And then I'm going to chamfer. I didn't want to do that. I want to do the menu. And then I don't know that I want to do 2. And then let's kind of bring it in a little bit because I don't want it to be too thick. I think that's pretty good. So one section kind of creates this frame effect that I was wanting. I'm going to hit the check mark. And then, oh, I don't like that. I lost my lines. Hold on. Nope, go back. It's hard to, once it's gone, there's too many lines. They start to meld together. So I need to kind of pay attention to where these triangles were created. I think that'll guide me. So polygons, and then I'm just going to grab all the extra polygons I just created. It'll take a hot minute. Okay. Oops. Okay. Oh, nope. Just kidding. We have this one, and this one, and that one. Okay. Got them all. Okay, now I'm going to extrude. Maybe bevel. Let's see what bevel does. We don't want that much. I feel like that's just breaking it more. I changed my mind. We're going to do extrude. And we don't want too much because it is, after all, just a window frame, technically speaking. So it looks like the window is a little bit more recessed. Let's see what this looks like. Maybe what we need to do, I'm going to pop this out just a little bit to give it some dimension. But I think what I'm going to do, after this is I'm going to go and grab these polygons and sink them in just a little bit too. Yeah, see, this one's popped out a little bit more. That's a Lego though. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. It may not be completely correct, depending on what you're looking at, but I think I'm okay with that. Then I'm just going to grab, like I said, the polygons in between. Oh, I have the extrude still going. Hold on. Forgot to hit the check mark. There we go. Now we can select these. I did bump it, right? Yeah, just a little bit. Oops. That was me accidentally moving it with the move tool. I misclicked. The fun part is going to be the circle in the center. Okay. I'm just going to double check that I'm recording. Okay, good. Okay. And then extrude again, but this time we're going to go negative. Just a little bit. Okay. I'm pretty happy with that, I think. You can create more details on the wings and stuff if you want to do it this way. I will say that if you want to do these cross dimensions or shapes across the wings, probably the best way to do that, let me see if I can do this. Probably the best way to do that is going to be selecting the diagonal vertices. I'm going to try it, see what happens. Oops, I don't want to accidentally have those selected. Before you do anything where you're connecting or like severely editing polygons, do make sure that, or not just polygons, but edges and vertices and stuff, make sure that you're not selecting stuff behind it. I'm going to try connecting. No, that doesn't work. What about if I just select this one and, oops, this one? No, okay. So that's not going to be a good way to do it. You may want to do it before you add everything in. I was hoping that there would be a good way to do it, but nothing's coming to mind right now. I don't want to do chamfer. I suppose you could just make some braces from a box, keep them fairly flat, and then just impose them in like we did with everything else with the Booleans. But regardless, this is what I'm looking for the assignment as far as shape goes. I'm not going to go, well, I'll leave it up to you guys. We've done the multi-sub a couple different times now. We did it once with selecting textures itself, and we did it once with selecting colors. Is there anyone that wants me to go over selecting colors with a multi-sub object again? Specifically for this assignment and how to apply it. So everyone knows how to do a multi-sub object and with picking the colors from the color picker. And just to be clear, what I'm talking about is in the material editor in this multi-sub object. Okay, no one is saying they want that, so I'm going to assume that everyone for this assignment will do the multi-sub object with perfection, which would be great. Because we do use it later in other assignments as well. I do want to try to decide. So this lesson is kind of split up into two. If you look at the syllabus, we have the Sky Sphere, and then we have lab time for the TIE Fighter, and then we have flying on the path. So this part is one half, and then this part is the other half, with time to work on it in between. What I'm trying to decide, I think I'm gonna save it for next class. I wanted to show you guys how to make a star, for lack of a better word. So basically, we'll be creating a sphere, and then we'll be creating a light inside the sphere, and then we'll have the sphere cast light in our space, really. So like at the end of this assignment, what we're looking for is a somewhat rudimentary TIE Fighter that is going to fly on a path that we're going to design, not next class, but the class after. And then we're going to have asteroids and stars, and it's going to be really cool. I think for the next assignment, I have you guys rendering it to a video. Let me see. Yep, we render to a video. So it's going to be like our own little space scene. So we don't want to just have like this empty space, right? We want to put some stuff in it. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys some time to work on the TIE Fighter while this is fresh in your mind, the Sky Sphere and the TIE Fighter, while it's fresh in your mind for the next hour of class. And then I think next class when we come in, I will show you guys how to make the star with the texture and the light, as well as asteroids, because I think we can just do that really simply with a modifier to make our lives easier. Does that sound okay with everybody? Does anyone not want to do that? Okay. So I think that's what we'll do. I can't imagine anyone's like, no, don't give us time to work on it now. So hopefully everyone is in agreement with that. I will stay here. Obviously, class is still in session. However, I know some of you guys have felt like unsure about this. Class is still in session, but you guys are adults. And I have had students before in the past ask, can I leave? If the lesson is done and I'm no longer talking and you are a kind of person that is a homebody introvert, I want to sit at home in my dark in my hoodie at my computer desk and work, that's fine. I don't require you to be here when we're working on stuff. However, keep in mind, that means that you will not have me to help you. So it's kind of up to you. But like I said, you guys are adults and I kind of let you guys make your adult decisions, okay? Any questions about that? Waiting for the one person to be like, so I can leave now? So yeah, okay. With that explained, I am going to go ahead and mute myself so that you guys can work in peace. But I will still be here. The class will still have a session. I won't end it until class is supposed to end technically at 8:50, right? Yeah, 8:50. And if you have a question for me or you're stuck or something, just shoot me a message in chat and I will help you out. Give me like a couple minutes to respond. I may be in the bathroom or not looking directly at the chat box. But I should respond within 5 minutes. If not, call 911. Just kidding. I think that's pretty much it. And then next class, like I said, we'll go over the asteroids and the stars. As a matter of fact, I may go ahead and poke now with the asteroids and see if I can't find like an easy way to do them. Okay. Any questions? If we want, can we add other Star Wars ships along with the TIE Fighter? Absolutely. Keegan's like, I'm out. Bye. Okay. See you next week, Keegan. Have a good night, Tyler. Don't forget to work on these, though. Okay. Did I answer your question, David? Okay. If that's what you need to do. Okay. All right. I'm going to mute myself. If you guys have questions, go ahead and hit me up in chat. Otherwise, I will let you guys work.